So I have a thought exercise for you. So you have a 1/3 of the population believes in Christianity in one form or fashion. But you believe that this is the authorized word of God. Okay. So you believe it's the authorized word of God because one person told another person, and that person told another person, and that person told another person. And for at least 20 to 40 years, it was all word of mouth. And then, based on the evidence that we had, you trust 1, 2, 3, 4, a few scraps of paper. And then, 100 years later, it's written down in different gospels and different letters written by Paul, or anonymously, well, said to be written by Paul, but of course they weren't written until after Paul would have been long dead. And then hundreds of years after that, after so much infighting within Rome, the Roman Empire, they come together under the Orthodoxy. And the Orthodoxy, over the next few hundred years, say that the book of Enoch is first, it's a part of the Bible, the written word of God. And then a few hundred years later, those men decide that it's not. The shepherd of Hamas is part of the Bible. It's the word of God. But then, few hundred years later, they decide that it's not. The book of Revelations was not part of the Bible. But then, almost 1,000 years later, is added to the Bible. And then there is the split. Well, first before that, then there is the destruction of all other writings. Then there's the split between the church, the Catholic Church, and then what becomes the Protestant churches. And then there's the translations from the Vulgate and the Latin into King James. And then there is the proliferation of that book around the world. Do you really believe this is the unedited word of God? What if somewhere before all of that, Jesus, if he existed, said that I will come to everyone around the world in different forms, in different ways, based on their culture, and teach them based on their culture. And you are to respect all, to know that the message is the same. What if it said something like that, but it was lost in time? Are you sure that through all of that history, the book you read is the actual recording of God? Don't you think a perfect God would have a better way of maintaining the exact thing that he wants to be said?